Hey everyone, what's up? GleeCon here once more with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. Thank you so much for clicking. I hope that you like what lays before us today on this show. The show where I try to cover everything in the universe of World of Warcraft. All of the games, of course. That's a big chunk of the content, but we also cover and have over the 1,500 plus episodes over the past 4 years or so. A lot of the books. We're going in order, so we've covered all of the material outside of the game up to Classic. So if you want to check out any of the books on tape, and some of the more obscure stuff like magazines from BlizzCon, manga, what have you, things that are even non-canon, we've started to go backlog some non-canon material too. We are in the middle of a Classic era completionist run where we do everything in the game. And we're going to continue doing that today as we are in the middle of Feralas doing a Horde run with Gleeconsoul, our Tauren Shaman. So stay a while and listen as we take her back into Feralas. Actually, I believe we're in Tanaris right now because I try to, whenever there's a big travel stretch ahead, I try to chop some of that time off by doing whatever the longest part of the flight is off camera. So the reason why we are in Tanaris is because there is a Sunken Temple breadcrumb quest that originates in Feralas. The two-parter, and it comes right here. We have to go talk to this little dude. Let's see where we are. You know, anytime we're in, actually, Feralas is a great place for fishing. I was going to look at my fishing skills and see where we're at. I know everybody loves to watch me fish, but we are 275. I think we're good. Yeah, we are all caught up on fishing, so that's good. We might not be with our Glee Contessa because I didn't check that last time. It's okay. We're getting so close to the end of the game when it comes to fishing, being level 60, that pretty soon that will stop anyway. But we've done that. When I say we do everything on camera, we even do that. And there are certain things, there's quests that maybe are going to be a little bit trickier to pull off that we will save, will fold into our coverage of later expansions. But I can kind of give you an idea. For instance, the grind to allow us to do some of the quests for the Bloodsail Buccaneers, which is going to require us to take this faction that we're completely hostile with and grind our way back up to neutrality and beyond. That's going to be tough to pull off because I do think there are some quests tied into that. Right now we are going to talk to this Goblin Marvin Rivet Seeker. I think there's actually a Tanaris quest we did tied to him, but this is a person who I guess originally lived in Ratchet and is wanting us to come out here. All right, let's see here. Sunken Temple.
I know. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. My home is actually in Ratchet, but after crashing my Zeppelin here, I thought I might as well start the research I came here to do.
Person says, anyone have any advice on a decent way to get the bonfire in Stormwind? What is it, the Lunar Festival right now? Maybe? Yeah, Midsummer event. That's what it is. Yikes. I would say maybe go for a rogue. I don't know. Corpse runs. That's what you gotta do. Corpse runs.
Yes, the Sunken Temple. I can say that I've seen it with my own eyes. Perhaps you'd like to hear more about it. You look like the adventurous type. I know things that may intrigue you.
Okay. So this is the old Sunken Temple quest. Another thing that I do is I keep a running list of quests, and this is Temple, which is going to allow us to pick up the stone circle. This is a two-part breadcrumb. We're not going to take it very much further than that, but we are going to knock that out of the way right now because it's just something we have to do.
I once entered the foreboding chambers of the Sunken Temple. The evil in that place penetrates all that enter. I barely managed to find my way out, wading through the ooze that now covers the floors. All I can remember is stumbling through a large circular room filled with serpent statues. Recently, I discovered a round stone that appeared to have the same serpent symbol imprinted on it. I had it packed up and shipped to my workshop in Ratchet. Retrieve it, and I might be able to tell you more.
So, just more kind of like foreshadowing of what's going to happen in the Sunken Temple. So what's faster, to fly to Ratchet. No, I think it might be faster to Hearth to Orgrimmar. This cloak is not... I have this healing... This cloak I have right now is pretty good, but I have a healing specific cloak that's a little better. Alright, so we're gonna... The only reason why I ported here was so that we could quickly fly to Ratchet just to save a pinch of time, because we're not gonna need the Hearthstone any time soon. Yeah, this is good. Thick hide. I could do some cured thick hides if I wanted to, but actually, best place to work on that. Oh, you know, if we have to go to the Eastern Kingdoms, I do need to make a run to Badlands at some point because we are ready to level up our. We're ready to level up. We're doing dragon scale leatherworking so that we can be a meme that everyone laughs at. But I just felt like I don't freaking care. I'm not like a uber power gamer, min-maxer, pumper, whatever. There was a person advertising in...
You haven't lived until you've looked down on the world
chat yesterday that was just like all day spamming. We are looking for rank 14 pumper DPS warriors to, you know, fill out our super raid team. We clear, I don't remember what it was, maybe Blackwing Lair in 34 minutes or so. I can't remember which raid it was. And we have a once a week raid where we do all the raids like Molten Core, Onyxia, and maybe Blackwing Lair was the other one, all in one night. And so I was just like, man, this is the exact opposite of like, I am not the person they are marketing for. And I understand that, like, if you're a power gamer, if you are a pumper, that might be right up your alley. And I see the appeal, like, hey, I can get all my raiding done one night a week as an adult. That really, that sounds good. But the idea of having to grind out rank 14 in PvP just to unlock whatever set of gear it is that allows you to get, you know, 2% better or whatever, and if that scales with the whole, you know, whatever the whole case may be, just to shave 5 minutes off a raid or whatever. I just, it's crazy. It's just crazy. To me, but I understand it. So I guess it's not crazy. It's just not, that's not what I do for this game. I feel like I have enough pressure, self-imposed and externally imposed, working in my real life that I do not. I like to escape when I play games. I like to explore and set goals that I can accomplish at my own pace, and take a meandering journey where I really savor everything that this world has to offer. That's what I'm here for. It's crazy. I was doing some content on Anniversary the other day, and I was so desperate, I needed an assist. And I was so desperate, eventually I was like, I'll pay 5 gold if someone will come help me. I just can't, I could solo the content. It was a dungeon quest in Nomergon, the Willix the Importer quest. And I can solo that. I could with my hunter at level 34, 35, whatever I was, but I couldn't do it fast enough that the mobs wouldn't respawn. So I was just stuck. Alright, so here we are in Ratchet. There's nothing special. There's no gimmicks or tricks to this quest. You're just going and picking up this dude's ring, Marvin, Rivet Seeker's Stone Circle. I don't think you can do anything with it. I don't think you can read it or interact with it. Probably should have gone in Ghost Wolf form. Alright, so if we're looking at the Stone Circle, it actually looks like this in Black Dragonflight Molt, same graphic. Yeah, you can't, like, interact with it or anything. Alright, now unfortunately we do have to fly the rest of the way back to Tanaris. This is, with Alliance, we were able to kind of fold this into a couple other quests, but there's not really anything to fold it into with Horde. Because the other quest line has us going out to Felwood, which we're not doing that. Yeah, so we will eventually do these flames. I'm thinking next year we'll start that, because our characters will be level 60 by then. So starting with possibly the Valentine's Day quests, I think I missed a couple of those. We're going to do a drop everything and only do those quests. On camera, off camera. It'll be my top priority each day, each time those events pop up. We have done Christmas and New Year's already, so like I said, we did a lot of Valentine's, but I think there's one small piece. And then I started the Lunar Festival. We did some on camera, or actually I did it off camera, but it was a nightmare and basically impossible to do outside. So what I think I'll do is I'll take my strongest characters. It won't necessarily be these guys. It won't necessarily be Lee, Contessa, and her. I'll probably do it with my mage and my shaman, because they are... it depends. The mage can do things that my Ret Pally can't, but the Ret Pally similarly can also do things in terms of bubbling and stuff, so that's questionable. But my feral druid compared to the shaman, it's just night and day. You can stealth. I can just do a lot of stuff that I can't do. So that one you'll get to see maybe some of my other because I have 4 characters basically. I do Alliance and a Horde dry run first to work out the kinks. It's crucial actually to the forming of the show. The show would run have a lot more failure and frustration, and be longer if I didn't. So probably 60% of probably 60% of the prep time I do for this show is actually those dry run, making the spreadsheets, planning, and then like 5% is probably with like light editing and software that I use to upload, and then 35% is just the recording of what you see. So that's actually a common, I think, people that work on content, and I'm just an amateur, just a dude that does this as a hobby, but there are, I consume, like everybody else, tons of content, and you can see, the proof is in the pudding, the work that goes into it. And maybe one day I'll have more time to make this like my own full passion, where I work exclusively on this. I think more likely what will happen is in the future I might start adding the side content that I do for Patreon. Start getting old backlogs of that, because I have around 50 or so episodes. I haven't made a ton, but they're all pretty long. That's what I did yesterday, so I didn't drop an episode here. I contributed to the Patreon for the week yesterday. I just finished Assassin's Creed Bloodlines, which is a PSP game that's a direct sequel to Assassin's Creed 1 that sort of shows you how this stoic, isolated, individual character that ended Assassin's Creed 1 could create the requisite bloodline needed to get his modern day contemporary that can even live through his ancestors. I think that was a small, maybe an afterthought, I think, when they made the first game, is how do you reconcile those? You cannot have the main character die, because he needs to have a bloodline. So there's that automatically built in. I've also been playing, one of the things I do for my own pleasure is I do an insane. So if you think, oh, this guy is kind of absurd sometimes with the level of completion, like when we were in Tanaris and we spent just hours and hours on camera, probably close to 10 on-camera hours, collecting Hippogryph eggs from Feralas so that we could have technically completed that on both Alliance and Horde. You don't know anything, because in my reality is so much crazier than that, and I've talked about it too. On Anniversary, I decided to go my definition of like uber mega completionist, and I decided to do it with the Hunter, which is my probably up there in my least favorite classes. It's I love World of Warcraft, and it ebbs and flows so much with me. I have such a long relationship with the game that the things I like about it, it's like with a partner or a roommate or whatever, you appreciate different things over time, and then other things might not matter as much anymore, or might fade. So when I started the game, I like to be like Glee Contessa or ret pally is more similar to what I liked. I liked melee, wielding two-handed hammers. My first character ever was a ret pally. My first maxed character to level 60 was an arms warrior, because I did not know back in the day that that was a PvP thing, and just nobody told me. You know, it wasn't really a thing. So there was not as much of an... Now, if someone would clown on you if you were an arms warrior, oh my gosh, how dare you? And I got to level 60 just fine. And then I modified that by becoming an assassin rogue, and I pretty much mained some form of assassination rogue ever since, like, for the next... From that point in time, which was the mid Burning Crusade, when I rolled that rogue, all the way through Shadowlands, like deep Shadowlands, I have mained an assassin rogue. So I got to do all the ebbs and flows and watch that class change and grow, and had my love and hate with it. And you know, I've loved Horde, I've loved Alliance. I've gone both ways to where, and I've done. In retail, I've had a max level character of almost, not just every class, but almost every single spec possible. There are still, all these years later, some specs that I have not played around with that I will when we make our game. So let's just, for funsies, after I turn in this quest, we'll go through some of the specs that I still need to do, just because that's fun and it entered my brain and we have a little bit of flight left to do. But we're going to turn this guy in first. After this, we can finally fly back to Camp Mojache, and we'll return to Witch Doctor Uzer'i. That's the whole reason why we left, because we needed to continue this quest line, and it had to go to also wish repair bot stack. Sure. Oh.
Yo! Glad I could
Ratchet's
help.
not far from here, Gleekin Soul. The journey shouldn't take long.
Yeah, this is the stone. It's all coming back to me now, adventurer.
Alright, so you get 2 depth quests from him. Into the Depths and Secret of the Circle. Those are both Sunken Temple, and we will both do those later on. So that's cool, that one's done. That's great. Alright, so now we have to walk back to Tanaris. We're not picking those up. And we're going to fly back and continue the Witch Doctor thing, which will allow us to get the Muisek to start collecting that organically as we do all the other quests in the zone. We have the Zukash. We have some Sprite Darter Wings. I kind of want to... I don't know. Maybe we'll do Sprite Darter Wings. We'll do the Zukash and Stinglasher and Sprite Darter Wings. We'll get this little part cleared for now. It's not a bad one. Alright, so when we go on to retail and I start experimenting with other classes, let me regale you with whichever ones I actually have yet to this day to explore fully. So, I like to start by armor class. This is just how I do it, with the male class categories, and then work my way down. So, a warrior is the best to start with. As I told you, I have done an arms warrior. I have also done Prot Warrior a few times, both on this show, and I have maxed out a Prot Warrior in Mechanome, and did extensive Mythic Plus with that guy. So that's actually probably my most experienced warrior type is Protection. And I have max leveled a Fury Warrior. So Warrior, when we roll one again, we can do whatever. Because we've done it all.
Where would you like to fly to?
It's just such a common class. Alright, so now we're going to go to all the way to Camp Mojache.
Strength.
Alright, then if you look at Paladin, I have maxed out a Holy Paladin. I actually did it with my wife. We did I did some on my own, but we did a my wife is texting me from the other room. So I did do Holy Warrior, Holy Paladin, and I actually rolled another one in Anniversary. Her and I have not been playing very much lately. We've just been busy, and just doing other things. Honestly, we've been playing a lot of pool. She's waking up in the mood. Alright, so Ret Pally I've also done extensively. I've done that one in retail. That's my first class I ever rolled, and you see that we are maxing one here in Classic. So there's that one's fine. What's the other Paladin? Protection Paladin. I am trying to remember if I rolled a protect. It's not really viable in Classic. I mean, you could, but it's like the worst of the specs. I'm trying to remember if I rolled. I don't think so. So I do think Protection Paladin, or whatever it's called, I don't think I've ever really. That just seemed boring to me. I would consider, that's probably the way we would have to roll, because I can't off the top of my head. I definitely remember, yeah, I did a Resto Pally, when I was maxing everything, and I did a Retribution one. Retribution's fun right now, I like it. And so is Holy, I mean. So, I've never had the drive, but I guess that's what we'll roll. We'll roll a Holy Paladin and see how it goes when we start doing retail and we do another Paladin. Just because I've never done that before, so you guys will get to see me play around with that. Death Knight, newer class. My first ever Death Knight that I really extensively played and I liked was a Blood DK. I would do that again, just because I like them and I feel like they've probably evolved. But honestly, my most memorable DK was an Unholy DK. They're pretty fun. The one that I've never done, that it's been on my to-do list for a long time, is a Frost DK. So that will be in our future. The first DK that we roll together on camera, I will make a Frost, because I basically, other than my little anniversary experiment, I've not been playing this game without you guys. So don't worry. I'm saving up all my experiences and projects for us. So, we got a Frost DK in the future.
How you doing, man? Be seeing ya.
Have you spoken to Niru? Yeah, so we brought him in like a pickled shrunken head. And, he's bringing back an herb pouch.
Okie dokie.
This is just what I need to prepare the Muisek vessel Glycanso. Soon we will see if my latest incantations prove to be as powerful as I had hoped. Please, a moment, I must perform the ritual and apply the herbs. Okay, so this is Return to Witch Doctor Uzer'i, or Uzer'i. That is done. Right here. Bam, bam. We're actually making pretty good progress with this. And if we make too much progress, I'll have to slow things down. But I have some things lined up. Even a book coming up in the medium future.
See ya later.
Alright, so he runs over. It says Witch Doctor Uzer'i begins the ritual. Now that we gave him these herbs. Dancing. That's what forest trolls like to do. Now he's doing some capoeira above it. Okay, that's all you gotta do. You do like a little cheer dance and some capoeira, and then the Muisek vessels are now ready.
Relax.
Alright, so he's gonna give us 2 quests. Natural materials being the first.
Later.
I'll need certain materials to complete my endeavor. You may do this alongside the other tasks I'll give you. I need a splintered log from a treant of Feralas. Encrusted minerals. These can be found on the mountain giants and fairy dragons to the west. Also find me some resilient sinew from the owl beasts of hinterlands or hippogryphs of Feralas. Finally, I need a large amount of metallic fragments from any of these creatures I mentioned. So basically, as we quest about, we just need to be getting those things for him. It's just add-on. We're not going to focus it down. we need to do them with, like he said, the other things. So we need to complete the other Muiseks. And as we're doing them, we'll get this other stuff. Testing the vessel. This will be a test, both of the ritual I performed and of your abilities. Take this vessel, Gleekan Soul. With it, you'll have the power to shrink and capture a creature inside of it. Travel to the hinterlands and look for creatures known as wildkin that were once pets of the night elf goddess Elune. The vicious, primitive, or savage owl beasts are your targets, Gleekan Soul. Kill 10 and use the Muisek vessel to shrink and capture them before their spirits can escape. Dang it, I did not remember that we had to go to the hinterlands. Bumski Wumski. Alright, so this is, what's it called? Testing? Where is it at? Right here, testing the vessel. Bummer. Okay, so kind of have to think about how I want to do this now. Because if you look at testing the vessel, what comes after is Hippogryph Muisek. That's fine. We'll get those from here. Fairy Dragon. See how they tie with the other quests. Hippogryph Muisek is going to come down here. We can go get these Gordani ogres. It's just all tied together. Dang. Why do we have to go to the hinterlands for this? Okay, what else do we have? I don't really know. It's been too long. The problem here is that I did all of these like a couple months ago, so I've forgotten them. Those we already picked up. Ogres of Feralas, like I wanna work that set when I go down to get the hippogriffs. We need to work them all together. So I think what I have to do is astral recall, and then we just have to go to the hinterlands. Luckily, we have that. We have that ability between the Hearthstone and the astral recall, only having, I believe, 15-minute cooldown. That'll be fine. So we're just gonna have to fold some traveling in to this episode, and that's not the end of the world. So we're gonna have to take a Zeppelin to Orgrimmar and then fly to Hinterlands, where we will get any wildkin that we want, and then we'll have to Hearthstone or astral recall back again, and then fly back. So it's just a bit of a pain. And this is still not counting the traveling we will have to eventually do to get to the Fellwood. But things will go so much smoother if I can bake all the questing around this Muisek. And at least we got the Tanaris part out of the way, so... I don't know why I felt like there's like a cap or a lid to this. And when I see it, I'm often surprised, like, oh, there's nothing on top of the Zeppelin Tower. It's just an open platform. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna go to Undercity and then fly. So we have a little more traveling ahead, which means we can talk a little more. I think we finished all of the profession quests. Sometimes I talk about that too. Not profession, class. I think we got all the way through the level 50s. Actually, we might not have done it. We did do all the Warlock for sure. So if we have more time, we will cover this too, because I don't think we did the Warrior level 50 quests that we're not going to cover. So that's something else we'll talk about. But since I'm in the middle of this breakdown of what spec we haven't done, I'll just continue doing that for a little bit. So, what do we have so far? Warrior, we can do whatever I feel like. Paladin, if we roll a Paladin, I'm going to have to experiment with Protection Paladin, because I've never done that extensively. And I've never played a Frost DK at all. Like, never touched that spec. So those are up in our future. And that's all of the male classes for us, or the heavy plate classes. The male classes are Um, So of course there's Hunter, and I'm pretty sure I've done everything. My current anniversary run is with a marksman style Hunter. We did also that when I played through on this. I've 100%. I definitely have done marksman Hunter. One of my not my favorite characters, but a very cool character I liked a lot that I just was thinking about a couple days ago. Was a marksman hunter, and it's pretty cool on retail because you have like the lone wolf. You don't use a pet at all. I kind of like it. I've done a Beastmaster Hunter for sure as well on retail, where you get the extra pets, and it's pretty fun. And actually, I believe I've done a Survival Hunter too on retail. I think I did a Pandarin Survival Hunter where you're working on bow staff skills and traps and stuff. So I'm fairly certain I've done all three. So Hunter will be open to us when we decide to go that route. We can do whatever we want with Hunter. Shaman, they're one of my favorite classes. We've basically run Enhancement Shaman with her, but it's really enhancement with the idea of becoming Resto. I've run a Resto Shaman in full on retail, and I love it, so we will definitely not go that path. I think I did Elemental Shaman. I had another Shaman because I had a Vulpira. That was my Resto that I really liked. But I think I did a Draenei Shaman. Draenei? And that was, I'm pretty sure, Elemental. So other than this character that we're running right now, I've never done a full enhance only Shaman. So that's something to consider, looking at the enhancement Shaman as that looks in retail. I'd be curious. We'll probably go that route just because I'm curious. Then, technically Evoker is a male class, and that one I've only played some because that one just came out in Dragonflight. I did have one maxed out Evoker character. I don't remember what spec I did. I think I'd have to look. That's how little, because they start so high, and I basically just ran through the Dragonflight storyline until I got them to level 70 or whatever the max was in Dragonflight, 70 I think. And that was it. Then I never really played them again. Then I did play for a while when they came out with the third spec, which was maybe like Chrono Time Warden, something like that, where you're basically like buffing. And I played that a pretty decent amount with my wife. This is these flames. But still not maxed out. So I'd say everything's kind of on the table with those. I would look and see beforehand which one I did technically max out and just go the other path, and probably skip the Chrono one on my first run through, because but we'll probably do more than one, just because there is one of the three that I haven't touched at all. It might be Evoker, or I mean the damage spec is, the DPS spec.
How may I be of service?
But I have to look up and see. I guess we can go all the way to Revantas.
Farewell.
So that's a little bit more up in the air. We'll probably end up doing a couple of these. Maybe I don't know, or maybe not. Maybe we'll only do one. Okay, leather classes. The OG Rogue, I've actually spent less time with that because I've focused on assassins and done rogues my whole life. That I've never really wanted to play them on the side, because my mains are always rogue, but I'm pretty certain I did do an outlaw rogue for fun, just because I was curious on what the style was like. So I think I have one of those maxed out. I'm pretty certain I do. I don't think I've ever really been like a subtlety rogue because they were always billed as being PvP. So I think if I was going to do another rogue, I'd go subtlety just to, you know, see how that feels in retail now. But I've really spent so much time as a rogue that there's not... The specs themselves are just like a flavor because I have changed specs on the fly, and everything's evolved so much over the years, and I've been through all of the evolutions on Rogue up until I have not played War Within at all. So up until that, it's a little bit off. Like that, whatever. That's that. Even though I haven't played subtlety, I've done enough of the subtlety things when certain things were whatever. So, but that's probably what we'll roll just to give it a whirl for funsies, just to add some freshness to that experience for me. What else? Druids. Now, Druids are the only class in the game that have 4 specs. So, and then there's another class that has only 2, right? I'm just forgetting it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember here. Maybe there is no class that only has 2 specs. I guess Evoker originally did, but then they added a 3rd. But Druid, I've done Feral. That's, I mean, I'm 58 or something like that on Classic. So I've done Feral a lot. Trying to remember what my Druids were. My first ever, when I got back into retail heavily, the first max I ever got with my wife was a Resto Druid, so I've done Resto Druid. I have a love-hate relationship with that class. They're one of my favorite classes to heal with at the highest levels of the game. But they went through such a period of time where they were essentially impossible to do PvE content solo with. It was an absolute nightmare until Dragonflight started changing the things so that everything was basically viable in all forms of content. And now they're better, but I just went through such a long stretch trying to get through content, always needing someone to help me or slowly doing it myself, that it really made and like late game Shadowlands and just brutal. So I've definitely done that. Feral, I've done it here. I've probably done, I maybe have done it retail, maybe not. I can't quite remember. I actually did do a balance Druid as well, where I was like Wildkin form and moonfiring all the time. Did not like that, but I did max a character out that way in retail. So I would say Feral is something I would consider some, but I've never done a Guardian Druid, where I focused exclusively on tanking. And they don't really do that in... It's either healing balance, I think, or Feral in this version of the game. But Feral, so in a way I've kind of done it, but I think Guardian Druid, really both of those types of Druid I would need to play with. But since I've done so much cat form Druid in Classic, I'd probably start with Guardian just to feel out what it's like to want to live in bear form all the time. What are other leather only classes? I think the only other one that I'm missing is Monk. Monk, I spent extensive time as a Brewmaster Monk. That's one of the only class sets I ever maxed out. Maybe the only one with my son. Him and I took he took a Rogue and I took a Brewmaster Monk, and we took some Pandas to 60. And that was fun. And then I did a lot of other side content, raiding and stuff like that on my own once he lost interest. Like the youth of today, or maybe it's just people with... I was raised with like game scarcity, so I had to get games and play the heck out of them. And I'd say at least half the games that I rolled across my life I stuck with and really played the heck out of, and now games are just so everywhere. They just pop up and you can constantly get a new version or a new flavor or a new iteration, and there's so many consoles. And so I have found, at least observing my son and other kids, that ability, that desire to be a completionist doesn't really exist in the same way with kids anymore. Maybe I was the same way as a kid. I don't know. All right, so we're here, and we need to get these Wildkin Muiseks. What you do is, I'm pretty sure it says, yeah, you shrink and capture a fallen Wildkin. So you kill him first, and then... Wait. Yeah, so... Meanwhile, we're going to be getting whatever content we can. Yeah. Downside of having so many quests will get in the way I have it set up to certain buffs. Okay, so we are going to bust these guys up. And these also have the ability to drop this resilient sinew and the metallic fragments. Drop rate's pretty good, I believe. I don't think, in the process of getting these Muiseks, we're going to get these other things. Yeah, so we got a sinew. And that's it. We got another Muisek there. I also did a Mistweaver monk, and I even did some mythics and raiding with as Mistweaver. It was interesting, and I enjoyed it. One thing I have never touched on or played in the slightest is a Windwalker monk. I've never tried that class. It's always one of those, not that I don't want to. It's kind of like Frost DK. It's like one of these I've always kept in the back pocket, like, well, there's always that. You can always go try that. So that will 100% be the first monk that we roll on camera when we do one together. I will roll Windwalker to experiment with that for the first time ever. I am intrigued. It seems like a very fun class. Yeah, so I guess we're just doing this just to test it out. But everything that we kill has a chance of dropping metallic fragments. So everything that can drop Muisek. So as we do all of these different Muisek quests, we will easily, and then the Sinew are dropped both by these guys and by the Hippogryphs, and we're going to need those too. There's a 30-second cooldown on the little, whatchamacallit, the drum or whatever this thing is, the vessel. So that's just something we have to keep track of. And also, I could be speeding up our DPS a little bit if I was. Sometimes I get into this uber conservative mode with my mana on the shaman, where I'm just like, should I? But once you heal one time, then we're. Then all bets are off. So really, it's just. Oh, I was worried that might happen. I heard him lurking around. Okay, because we do have an insta-cast. And this will give us some leather. These little Silvermane Stalkers, since they can stealth. Alright, so what else do we have here? Thinking about these other classes, I don't think I missed any leather-only classes. Alright, let's get this little... So that would leave the cloth classes, I think. Unless I'm forgetting something. I'm going to bring him back over to my other totem spots. Oh, look, I can fight this Razorbeak Skylord. I'm not going to do that. I like those guys. I don't like that we have to kill them. I think griffins and they're just iconic. It goes back to the Warcraft 2 days where they were just one of the coolest things in the artwork and the imagery of the game. Alright, so of our clothies, start with Mage. I have done, I think, I've done Frost extensively. I've done it on Classic. I did it, I did it before on Retail, so Frost Mage, that's definitely not going to be where it's at. I did a Fire Mage as well. The Fire Mage is, I don't need to have to go that route. But, I need to redo my wind weapon more off. Lower. Okay. Yeah, so the one again, this is kind of goes like Windwalker Monk. One that has always enticed me and as a curiosity that I've never even dabbled in at all is an arcane spec mage. It's not really practical in Classic. That's not really how the dreamers envisioned specs when they first made the game. You know, there's just certain things that are just, they're just not meant to be fully specced out. I mean, I don't know. I think they did dream to have them all, but like Arcane is ridiculous. You're never gonna max out Arcane. It just doesn't make sense. It's not viable compared to the other two. And for a lot of times, all throughout Warcraft's like path, Arcane just hasn't been viable as a real end game competing spec. So I am very curious, since I believe almost all builds are essentially somewhat viable now. Now, maybe not like meta endgame, and it's also so easy to change your spec now. It's not like Classic here where it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, and it's just not really viable to keep changing specs. Or reallocating your skill points. It is so easy to do it in Retail that you can constantly play around. But yeah, so that'll be our first mage that we roll. Just to give that a whirl. All right, Warlock. We have. I have to think about Warlock. We've definitely. I've definitely done Destruction for sure. That was my first. When I got back into it with Shadowlands, that was my first Horde character. Was a Destruction Warlock. Had a lot of fun with that guy. And then I later made an Affliction Warlock, and actually really was surprised at how much I liked that class. It was very neat, the way that it worked. I do not know that I have ever done a Demonology Warlock. I don't think I have. So I don't know, like where you're summoning 1,000 imps and stuff. Like I've played with plenty of them. I don't think I've ever gone that route. So I think we would play with that. I'd be curious to do it. I think it's just never been something that super enticed me. But as I grow and mature, I'm willing to try it. So we've got half the Sinew, which is perfect. That was the real goal, and now we have half of that. We've also gotten 7 of our 40 metallic fragments. That's more than enough. And our Astral Recall is back and ready to go. So we are done with our Muisek. We've tested the vessel now as good as we can. Now we just have a little bit of flying to do. So honestly, it seems like there are more classes that I have something left to do than there are... Oh, okay. We did forget one other class. Priest. I did run a disc priest. Very interesting class. The way that it was set up, the way it's always been set up, it's way more complicated than most of the other
down
classes.
on the world from the back of a wind rider.
It's medium in terms of how I feel about it. It might be a little better now, but I have maxed one out. And Shadow Priest I have played around with. Both Callie was becoming a Shadow Priest here when we did this on Classic. And I did one, a maxed out Shadow Priest when we were... I was just looking at her. I was just time checking us. Now that we've done this kind of longer part, now we'll open this up and be able to take it to the next level. I think we can maybe work down these Zukash. I'd be willing to go down there so we can find some treants on the way. I don't know. Or maybe I skip these darters and we go down and do the ogres into the hippogriffs. We're going to let the Muisek guide our questing. Maybe if I'm flying through, it'd be cool if you could get this rend buff, or what? Actually, is it rend? I don't remember which one. Whichever one you can get in Badlands. I mean, Barrens. All right, so yeah, I've done Shadow Plant. I also maxed out a Shadow Priest. Do not love it. Do not love it in retail. Did not at the time. But I did like, it is cooler in Classic, and maybe it's cool again now. But I've never once ever, because Priest was long my most hated class, and I've come around on them. I've never once ever rolled a Holy Priest. Because I think partially I got so scarred by the resto, the idea of being holy and have that be your focus, it just felt so limiting. But again, it's now probably viable, so I'd be willing to check it out again, and we will. And it'll help make us a solid healer. But yeah, so it sounds like most classes I still have some work to do. So Warrior, we have checked that box. Hunter, we've checked that box. That might be it. That might be the only two boxes where I've done every single spec. Which is ironic about the Hunter, because that is one of my least favorite classes. But as I get older, I don't know, like in retail, I think my least favorite classes, it's tough. I really have, a lot of them have grown on me a lot. Like, Warrior is rough to play, but I think it could grow on me again. I think I'm coming around. I liked it a lot in the beginning. My experience running a full protection spec at low levels made it painful. But now I'm coming back around on it as I see how you could, use arms or fury more likely to still tank and be a DPS person. It just is interesting. I would have to experiment with that more, but they're probably, they're arguably the best class in the game. Mage is right behind them. Paladins, even though they have a boring rotation, they're just fun. They don't need to do anything to win me over. I just like them. I like those jack-of-all-trade kind of classes. I don't know why. Rogue, again, used to be my favorite. It's vying for my least favorite in Classic. Mostly because of the way that I play. I don't do PvP, and I liked solo as much PvE content as possible. Both of those missions are very hard as a warrior and a rogue, so those two fall to the bottom for me. They're very doable as a paladin, so paladin is upper tier. Hunter is rising now that I've realized if you really do the research, put the time. They're freaking P. You can just accomplish things. I can accomplish things as 100 that you can't dream of. Because you can just have your pet tank pepper something down. If the pet dies and you can't finish off a fight, you can feign death with 30-second cool. Like, the only limitation that really... Well, it's just so complicated. You have to do so much research to constantly find out where you can learn the moves to upgrade your pet and which pets are good, and keeping your pet happy, keeping your pet fed, constantly keeping yourself food and drink for yourself because you need mana too, food for your pet, ammo, keeping all of these things, all of the different weapons. You can use literally every weapon type except for maces. So it's just hard to, it just requires a lot of work and thinking compared to other classes. So that that's kind of cool looking tree. It looks like a hand. It actually looks like it is. It's probably like supposed to be a fallen treant, giant treant, like a fallen treant arm. I bet you that's what it is. It's cool. I've never noticed that. The little things you notice sometimes when you haven't noticed it for years, and you might notice the one thing. There's a lot about this game. Alright, we did this.
Later.
We're able to capture the wild kin. If you succeed, we will be ready to shrink and capture the Muisek of creatures of Feralas.
See ya later.
Upon a violent death, the Muisek of a creature may escape and seek revenge. Shrinking the creature's agility can prevents the Muisek from escaping. Now we may use it as we please. Okay, so that's testing the vessel. And so that is... I think the last one that we did. Yeah, boom, boom. Okay. Now we can start collecting the different Muiseks. Since you have proven that you're both trustworthy and gifted with the ability to use the Muisek vessel, I now wish you to capture another creature. Hippogryphs have been loyal companions to the Night Elves for many years. Their spirits are loyal and steadfast. Your task is to kill 10 Frey Feather Hippogryphs and quickly shrink and capture them with the vessel so that their Muisek may be preserved. You'll find the Hippogryphs in the high wilderness to the south of here. Alright, so this is what we're going to do now. You're going to make a journey through this area. We're going to skip the sprite darters. So we're going to go along the path and we're going to kill the warlocks, the ogres on the way. If we want, while we're over here, we can also hit up the yetis. So we're going to, that's what we'll do, is skip these sprite darters and then we'll make a loop like that. It's a good, I think that's a good mission for us right now. This should allow us to also get the rest of our resilient sinew, and it will allow us to get another big chunk of our metallic fragments. We really need a lot of them because, I mean, we might, I guess it just depends. We're going to need to kill so many things. You can get the metallic fragments from everywhere. Anytime we see the treants, it's a good idea for us to kill them just because the splintered log does not have a 100% drop rate. And they're so rare. That we gotta leap on that opportunity. We will need a few Muiseks when we get to that part, but it's worth it. We're not gonna be doing that today. This loop we're on right now is probably the only loop we need. It's probably the only loop we're gonna get done because we're about sitting in about an hour. So if we do this one questing loop, so we really get a big chunk done, that'll probably take us through today. All right, so we're gonna go with the Ogres of Feralas. This is, I believe, part 2 of that chain of killing these ogres. So we're now killing the next tier of them. We need Shaman, Warlock, and Maulers. We're also gonna hope that one of them drops a Gordani Orb for us. And then on the way back, we'll get the Mark of the Yeti too. At some point, we also need the chicken egg to drop. The final egg, so that we can do that. And we could try to work on that today too, if we get it, or not. Oh, I don't need the brutes, dang it. I shouldn't have gone after those. Oh well. Brutes, we can skip. No, I guess I could make it. Alright, so we do need these little warlocks. So there we go. I will use that to interrupt. That will be worth it, I think. Because if you think about it, the Spirit Chaser Staff of the Arcane, 26 arcane spell damage. Alright, so here are the Maulers. What do you need? Maulers, Shaman. The Shaman are a little bit further down. They're actually not on up here. Okay, don't need brutes. Maulers might only be around here. Once you interrupt them once, also they kind of get the picture. I either resisted or I got it just in time. You only need 5 Maulers though. Okay, what are these? Cloth, Venom Shroud, Nature Resistance with Intellect and Spirit. Could potentially be appealing, except it's such a small amount of Nature Resistance. Maybe it's not appealing. These guys are at least worth a little bit of XP because we've actually gained a little bit. That was another thing I was like hoping. Oh, you know, hey, we'll get close to leveling up as we go. Alright, here's another warlock. We need 10 warlocks. We only need $5. I think as long as I'm above halfway, I'll spend the energy interrupting. Alright, there's another Mauler. Couple. So we can finish off our Maulers right now. And then we will have Shaman to do too. And again, we also need to kill the Mage Lords, because their Mage Lords are who drop the Gordani Orb. I did not aggro him. I heard him laugh. You jerk. Alright. They do that pop-up attack. They boom, pop you up. Okay, now things are... We're getting a little low on the mana already. That's how it goes with old Shaman. Next thing you know, you're out of mana. So that's it. We are just going to... Any place I'm going to try now to get that back up with conservative... Alright, so we got all the Maulers. Now it's just Shaman and Warlocks. Warlocks can be found throughout. Shaman are found deeper down in the bottom part, which is okay. Because like I said, that's where we need those Mage Lords, and the Mage Lords are only found down there too. Although we might only need 1 Mage Lord. I don't know that you need them for almost anything else. Okay. Oh man, he's instantly ready to go again. Okay, we've got 5 Warlocks. A bunch of big brutes. Yeah, there's more Warlocks that can appear down there. Okay, so we'll go. Keeping our eye out for these other mobs that we need too. We need Hippogryphs, that's another reason why we came down here. And if we see a wandering treant, we need to jump on that fool. Will come a time in our life when we need treants like nobody's business. That's the worst part. I don't think we'll need Screechers. Screechers was a Muisek that we did when we were in Hinterlands, I believe. Someone sent us up here to get that. Alright, there's another Mauler. Don't need him. Mauler. Mauler. Just a bunch of Maulers everywhere. I guess we could have came this way if we wanted. There's a Warlock. Okay, there's a Warlord. I don't know. Maybe at some point you need those things, but... Oh. If I take off... Maybe if I take off just the Ungoro Crater and the Maraudon, I can... Block. No, they still block it. No point. Alright. Warlock. Now the Shaman have just a slightly different staff. That's the only way they really stand out. See, these guys have like this jeweled tip at the end of their staff. The Shaman have like a smooth staff. That's pretty much the only way I can tell them apart. There might be some other little baby thing. But we are... The problem with them is there's not enough. I don't think there are 10. There's a Mage Lord. We need those guys. So, just something to consider. Like, we are already done with our Warlocks also. There's our first Shaman right there. Now, Shamans we really have to save are shocking because they can heal. Oh, they also only have one head, so I guess that's another... I guess having that second head makes you evil. Makes you want to consort with demons. There's another one. Alright, we're getting a couple Shami. Couple Shams. Don't need the Warlords. How can I have two Warlords side by side? Both Warlords? I don't know what it takes to become a Warlord. I thought you needed to, like... I don't know. Like, rule a bunch of people or sell a bunch of cocaine or something? I don't know how that works out. Obviously, my experience in the Warlord department, a little bit lacking. Those Battle Masters, no, that's different. I feel like, sure, you can be a Battle Master. Mage Lord. These guys, okay, these guys have the combo, the smooth staff with the two heads. Fireball can hit as hard as Shadow Bolt when the mobs do it, so maybe not quite as hard. Got him, but he did not drop that Gordani orb that we need. Here's another Shaman. A couple more. That's good. Gotta get those Shaman while the getting's good. These guys are softer, luckily, than when we fight the melee. I feel like these mid classes have an advantage over the Clothies. That rock, paper, scissors element of the first. See, that's what you gotta keep yourself ready to interrupt that. Alright, here's another Shamalama. Now, I don't think these caves are ever very productive. Like, there's a cave right there. I don't think that cave actually has useful... Like, I think they're shallow, and they don't have a lot of the guys you need for quests. Get it? That was a good hit combo. So, like, if you look there, like, you'll have to fight a few of these guys to get in, and I don't know that there's anything we really need inside it. Okay, another Shaman. I guess a good thing is, even though it's a Saturday morning, you're just not seeing a lot of people. I heard a lot of people lamenting, like, this game, saying, like, oh, Era's dead. It's not rejuvenating the way that people said it was going to, blah, blah, blah. You know, everyone just said, wait for Season of Discovery to be over, and then everybody will flood back, yada, yada. They're like, no, I mean, I feel like the game's not dead. me crush you. Alright, and there's another shaman right there. I don't think so at all. Like, I feel like it's fine. Sometimes it does take a little bit longer than I'd like to get what I want done, but I don't have any problems. Like, it does... Actually, that was on anniversary. Yeah, these guys, luckily, I mean, I guess it's good that we're killing a bunch because the drop rate, spoiler, was not 100%. Okay. Killed quite a few mage lords, I feel, and have not to show for it, but we have gotten luckier than I normally get trying to find shaman. The fact that we've gotten 6 so far, I guess that's about par for the course if they really dry up right now. Because, are there any in here? There's supposedly maybe some shaman, but that might also be indicating like underneath the temple. Hard to say. Oh, walking around it. How about that? Rar. Me smash Torin. Rar. Alright, so this is like where you could tell the Gordani are like related somehow to the Dire Maul. Also, just because if you look at like the rune structure, this is a mage lord, not another shaman. But also, when you read back to Chronicles about the ancient, on Draenor, the old empires that existed of ogres, then it makes sense that they have these kind of cool giant structures. Alright, let's see if there's anything inside here. There might not be anything. Battle Master. That's a mage lord, I guess we'll go that way. I don't know that there's anything upstairs either. Some more Battle Masters. I don't recall ever needing to kill Battle Masters, but I might be wrong. Should have probably corrected that. I mean, we're not getting a ton of XP, but trade-off is it's pretty easy. Okay, there's another mage lord. I think I got orb like within the first few mage lords I killed, if not the very first one when I did this before. Because I wasn't clocking the fact that this was going to potentially be difficult. Oh, we got it. As soon as I said it, I just needed to talk a little trash. Alright, and then there's more warlords up here. Lots of warlords. I knew it. Dang it. As soon as I started falling, I was like, oh, that guy was sitting right in the face. Alright, so now we have gotten part of it. We do still need 3 shaman. So let's hopefully have some shaman will respawn. I'm not gonna fight that guy, whatever. We're gonna evacuate the premises. Maybe he'll come and fight us all. I don't know where, or maybe he'll like bring 1,000 with him. 1,000 ogres. Or we might need to just get some hippogriffs going, because yeah, that's the problem. Is there are not enough shaman in the there's just not enough. There are not 10. I hate this. This is frequently happens specifically with ogres. There's one. they'll give you a quest, and there's just not. There's a second. That's good. They don't exist. There's a third. All right, so we have all the shaman we need right in front of us. I don't know why he was so eager to heal. I would feel like that was a fast heal. All right. That's this stupid. There was a glitch in the most recent update of LVUI. I think I talked about it before. It's just not really anything I can do. It started having glitch where anytime my mouse would hover over anything that would have any sort of tooltip. So for instance, if you look on the right side of the screen, when I hover over it, it gives you a questy tooltip about the Gordani Shaman, right? Or when you hover over these moves, there's a little tooltip to the right explaining what the move does. When you hover over this, it provides a tooltip. It's me. When I hover over that, it's a tooltip of the move. Literally anything you hover over, for the most part, anything in-game that's mobile, and anything that is clickable, provide tooltips. And there was a glitch, basically. I don't know what the glitch was happening, but it's causing LVUI to hang up and create this message. So I had to go into the LVUI script and just make it to where I turned off that if there is an error, that it produces the pop-up script. And every now and then, now what'll happen is I'll get one that says, you have so many errors going on, what do you want to do? But since that's the only error, it's not actually a game-breaking error, it's just somehow that tooltip is confusing. Maybe it's the fact that it's making it go over to the right instead of... I truly don't know. I don't even know what the error is. Alright, so here we are. Now here's the problem though, we can't skin them. That's lame. We can't, if we Muisek these guys, we can't skin them. But we need to get two things here. We need to get up to 20 sinew, and we need we need 10 minimum. But because we won't be fighting anything else that gives us sinew, we need our sinew to be done right now. Spire. Black rock spire. Lower, upper, lower. So these are the fray feathers we have in... Oh, look, there's a tree in. So we're going to kill that guy, and just because those splintered logs are a pain. But we can't Muisek him, unfortunately. Yet. Because I think you need more than two. Because we need 2 splintered logs, but I think you need like 3 Muiseks or something like that. Awesome, we got a log from him. It's just going to help us with they're just so rare. And there are like I said before, there's like maybe 4 or 5 spawn spots, and they're all across the zone, and you just... We don't want to be hunting that down because so much is tied to this. I'm on the fence about the Yeti about getting that right now because we are going to need to do that whenever we get the egg. Do we wait on that? But I also feel like I don't really want to wait on it. Also, look, that's taking too long. Now we have to wait. It's not that hard to get to it, so I don't know that I would really want to wait. And getting that will open up the second chain over here in case we have to go there. When we start getting up this way, we'll also do the fuel for zapping, all that stuff. But that's not for today. We're gonna do this loop. Where are we going time? Yeah, we're going time. Okay, we need 4 more sinew. We're getting pretty close to 100% drop rate on the sinew. I think we are. So it's just gonna mean that we don't get to skin these guys. Like after I do that, I'm still in combat for a few seconds, so it doesn't let me. I hate that feature of Questy where it doesn't let you interact with it in combat. It's... Yeah, so they're doing tests of lore. I can't remember which one Test of Lore is. If Test of Lore is the one... Alright, so... yeah, the problem... Yeah, so as a druid, if you could sustainably take a 3-pack out, you can do it. Alright, so we need 1 more sinew and 1 more Muisek, and then we're done with the hippogriffs. I would say probably in your 40s. Oops, almost skinned it. So we need that. Okay, so now we have all the Muisek there. And now we need to get the thick Yeti hide. So I'm just answering this question about I can't remember. So they're asking, could you basically stealth your way into the cathedral because they're a druid, and get the Test of Lore book. Alright, so now we're going to do the Yeti. This is going to be basically our last thing unless we get lucky and we get the chicken. Even then, I probably won't do... we might. Alright, but so now we're going to fight these Yetis. Keep that down for now because I'm going to need to up... Alright. So for this is that mark of quality. So we need the thick Yeti hides. We need 10 of them. We're still hoping we can get the chickens. These guys count as humanoids, so they can drop that. And we can skin their little bodies. So this will be a little bit more engaging for us. Alright, so... yeah, so basically they were just asking could they stealth in to get that book for Test of Lore. I'm actually about to do Test of Lore on another character. On my anniversary one, I just did that chain. But I'm not going to run Scarlet Monastery yet, so I'm going to sit on that quest for a little while. I'm wrapping up. I just started doing... Any long-time viewers of the show will know my least favorite zone in the game is 1,000 Needles. So I just started doing the Shimmering Flats. I've pretty much done all the other parts of it. The Shimmering Flats is the bad part of 1,000 Needles. So maybe I'm going to go in here. Maybe these guys, because these... I'm not loving this 0% drop rate we've had. Maybe if there's something other than just a generic Feral Scar Yeti. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Also, maybe I can get, there we go, we got one. I think I actually got it from the skinning, so that's good. So that's cool. Maybe drop down totems if we want, because if I pulled these guys strategically. There we go, got a second hide. So we'll get there. It's not gonna be that bad. But yeah, what I was talking about them being humanoids is that will help us because humanoids have a significantly higher drop rate on the chicken egg. So there we go, third hide. If we really do have a chance of getting it when we skin also, that's pretty useful. Heavy leather, I don't think heavy leather is doing us any favors right now, but the thick we can use. We have thick and rugged are the two types. Thick we can use to make those boots, I believe. It's actually more useful than converting them into rugged for now. These are still just generic Feral Scar Yetis. So this little cave is where the final robotic chicken is at. We gotta get it whenever we get it. That is one thing that could actually slow us down. We cannot leave this zone because we're uber completionists without getting that stupid chicken. Fourth hide. But we do have the whole zone to get it from. There we go. These are enraged Feral Scar Yetis. Enraged Feral Scars, so a little better. In here is where the chicken actually lies, so it'd be pretty cool if we got the chicken. I think he's like right there somewhere. What are you so mad about, buddy? Leather. Trying to see where the chicken is at. Maybe someone's on the quest with him right now. I don't really see him. There it is right there. Homing robot OX blah 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 blah. Right there. OX22FE. So this is where you go when you finally get the egg. It'd be cool if we found it like right here. Look how small the little one is. Or if we found it like standing on top of the egg like I am right now. I mean standing on top of the chicken. We will run it if we get it in this session. This is the last thing that we're going to do is kill these Yetis. So if we get it right now while killing them, we'll run that escort. If not, we'll save that for the other. We're going to go turn these in. Got a ham steak, baby. Sweet, sweet, delicious ham steak. Man, I have no problems with ham steaks in real life. I'll eat a ham steak. It's been a long time since I've just like eaten a ham steak as a steak. When I was a boy, though, definitely the parents ran that through the house a few times. Nowadays, if I get a ham steak, I'm usually getting it to cut it up and cook it in something else. I find it goes really well if you want to make like some kind of breakfast scramble or breakfast burrito. You know, if you're getting creative in that, cutting the ham off a ham steak and chopping that up into cube pizzas, that's really good. Hey, we're at 8 Yeti hides. We're getting deeper in the Yeti cave. Dark like a cave in there. See, he says it's a 5 arcane crystal kind of day. Time to get a lot of ticket. I'm guessing that's fun. I know arcane crystals are hard. I have a few recipes and some of my characters that require them. I don't know how difficult that would be to get 5, and I also don't know how one would go about procuring them. I haven't needed to do that, and I don't know exactly, other than a couple, like I said, a couple pieces of gear, or maybe it's potions, something that I have that requires them. I don't know why I'm hiding this guy so far out. Wadib. That is the old Dune reference. Wadib. I have 1 jade. I have a few, but not on this character. We probably have some in the bank on our Alliance character. And I have some on my Engineer. That is the Anniversary Realm. Alright, we got our 9th hide. See, you do have a chance of getting them from skinning. Every once in a while you get a quest like this and it's like, oh, thank you, skinning. You made my life better. Thank you for making life better. I guess we'll look outside. I don't feel like that we're getting... I mean, the drop rate has been good, has been fine inside. I don't want to get trapped having to fight 10 Yetis on the way out because we stayed in there to get 1, or we can just fight a few out here. Probably get 1. Yep, there we go, first one. Okay, so these do not have the chance of dropping the unique drop quest. That's the other kind of Yetis. Alright, but here we go. We are going to be done on that now. So, we're going to go turn these couple... It's not as many as it feels, but we do have a few that we're going to turn in. So we're going to turn in the next step of Ogres of Feralas. We're also going to turn in the Dark Ceremony. So we have those 2 ogre-related quests. And we will turn in the Yeti Hide, which will kick us over to the next tier of Yeti Hide questing. And we will turn in this Muisek. So, that will open up the next Muisek, since we're dictating our life based on the Muisek quests. We are gonna have, I think, a Sprite Darter Muisek, which is when we'll do these incandescent wings at the same time. And then we will have another one. The tree will open up when we do that. We'll go do this infestation, and we'll go start making our way around the world. And eventually, I believe the last one is the Mountain Giant Muisek, which is not as hard as it sounds. Shabby. We are at 14 of 40 metallic fragments, so we might end up having to grind a little bit of those. And if that's the case, we'll grind them out maybe with the hippogriffs, just because there's non-stop and we can skin them. So that's probably how we're going to do it. Here's our little Sprite Darters, so we will get these. Now, it doesn't say that they can drop the metallic, though. What a shame. Yeah, they drop encrusted minerals, so we actually are gonna have to go back. Maybe when we do the treants, we will have to stop and get metallic fragments from there, because, well, you can get them from the treants too, so we are gonna have to go stop and grind that out, because the metallic fragments, I thought they were off of oh, they are off of everything. No, they're not. They're just off of... Oh, they are. Okay, so we'll save that until the end. Alrighty. Hippogryph Muisek. Oh, I don't think I ever tagged that we had to pick that up. Did I? We did testing the vessel, and then I forgot to grab... Yeah, Hippogryph. Yep, and then that's going to open up Fairy Dust, Fairy Dragon Muisek for both of us. So we're going to turn in, pick up. Cool. We still have that one, and we're about to do Ogres of Feralas. Alright, here we go.
Hello, man. Later.
Be able to capture the hippogriffs.
Be seeing ya.
After killing an animal, if we allowed the Muisek to escape, it may take the form of an even greater creature. You would never be safe from its vengeance. This is a dangerous job I have given you, Glikanso. Again, you have completed it well.
Later.
Glikanso, next I must have you capture a creature that in appearance may look quite fragile, yet its powerful spirit is what we are truly after. The fairy dragons that I speak of have served the night elves as their allies. We must capture one so that the Horde may benefit from this strength of spirit as well. Here is the Muisek, Glikanso. Kill 8 Sprite Darters or Sprite Dragons and capture the Muisek. They may be found to the west of here.
Okie dokie.
Okay, so pick that guy up. Cool. The mark of quality. Hey, buddy.
Oh.
Let's sell these things. Some of these I'm going to let sit for a pinch, because I don't know.
Be careful.
I'll need them eventually.
May the
Were
eternal
you able
sun
to get a stack
shine
of
upon
10
you.
thick Yeti hides? My leather goods are second to none, and I'll share a sampling with you should you have the hides. If you can't seem to find Yetis, I know where some might be. Try looking west of here, just inland of the forgotten coast around the Feral Scar Vale.
Ah, excellent. These hides, when given a special treatment, are as resilient as iron, I tell you. It will take many tries in order to get the right mix down for the tanning, but I am confident they will bring my mark of quality to the next level. As for you, adventurer, your assistance has proven invaluable to me. Please take your choice from these items I have crafted.
Alright, so this 10 strength, 9 agility, not quite as good for me, and also their leather, the boots, 11 agility, 6 stam, again, not. Those are actually good quests, but or gear, just not from my particular spec. So this is the mark of quality that's being completed. Got that bad boy done. And this is going to give us improved quality.
I have a lead on an even better source of hides, if that's even possible to believe. In the northern parts of Feralas, deep within Ragescar Hold, are another throng of Yetis. They're much tougher than the ones you dealt with before, so if you're up for a bigger challenge, you'd best be on your toes. I would reward you handsomely for a stack of 10 of their hides. Bring them to me here, and we'll finish our business.
These are just in general very good rogue druid gear. It's just there's no way around that. They just are good. All right, so we got improved quality now. Pick that bad boy up, and then let's go figure out what's happening next with the ogres. And then that's pretty much going to be where we're going to wrap for today. I could go into the inn just to get a little rest in XP, but soon I'll do Maraudon, but not right now. All right, here you go.
Strength and honor.
The Ogres of Feralas Part 2.
You've proven yourself to be a trustworthy and dependable ally, adventurer.
I sure have. So, the Ogres of Feralas Part D. That is done. Boom. So now all that we have up top is to the top, and I think the next one's maybe going to be
May your blade
a Dark Ceremony. We must discover more about why the Gorduni are here, so.
This orb will provide us with more information about the Gorduni, which we will then use in planning their downfall, adventurer.
Alright, so this is the Dark Ceremony going to be completed. Which this one should lead us to something else.
Although I know my enemy well, I am a warrior, adventurer. I cannot begin to tell you what this orb is capable of. I know of a mage in Orgrimmar that will be able to tell us more about the orb. Take it to him.
So now we have another reason why we need to go to freaking Orgrimmar. That's annoying. Now I really want to wait until I have to, I don't know what. Maybe Strength of Corruption? Like, I don't know what is going to be needed out of this. So I'm not that stressed because little to nothing is going to chain its way out of this. The next time when we play, we're going to start with this Muisek here. And then kind of take it from there. I'm not even worried about going to Felwood yet because we have another episode we can do that with. Actually, let's do that. Let's turn that in, and then I can get on the flight path to come back. What's our time? Nah, we're a little bit over. All right, I'm not worried about it. All right, we'll do that all in another time. So I'm going to go to sell. That is something we could consider. It's nice to end the episodes. If we wanted to end it with the Felwood, Strength of Corruption. Actually, yeah, look at that. So Strength of Corruption we have near the end. But maybe, no, those we're on right now. Those are part of this chain we're on. That's that one. The Zukash Report. No. That's after maybe we do that. So I don't want to do it. Yeah, I'm good. I think we're good. I should have repaired inside that house. But other than that, other than some repairing, I think we are. So we'll do that. We'll come in here, repair, and then we'll go into the inn so that we get a little bit more rested XP. Ouch.
I've been expecting.
Don't need those. Technically, I mean, I don't care about the. I don't think we need either of those either. Okay, cool. All right, we got our work cut out for us, but we have done, it doesn't feel like a lot, but we did really the biggest traveling that we had to do. We did all of that hinterlands. Oh, and I forgot when we were in the Eastern Kingdoms to go to the Badlands, but we weren't really in that neck of the woods. So maybe when we go to Booty Bay, once we get our chicken, do that. But I thank you everybody so much for taking this journey with me. If you like what you see, send a smoke signal out to everyone that says subscribe to Lore of Warcraft. Thank you, guys. You all rock, and I will hit you up in the very near future with our next installment of this journey. For now, we have another episode in the pipe. 5x5.